What's in the golf bag 2025 for a low single-digit handicap golfer? I'm going to run you through everything that I would take with me to the course for a round of tournament golf in the summer. Starting with the bag itself. So it's a cart bag, the Ping Pioneer. I love it because it's clean, it's classic, simple black and white design, and it means that my crazy head covers that I'll talk about later really pop and stand out against the black. Incidentally, I got it for free as part of my winnings from my home courses pro shop, which is nice. So it didn't cost me a penny, which everybody likes, especially if you're me and you're from Yorkshire. Right, so what is actually in the bag before we get to the all-important clubs? And there are some sensational upgrades in there, guys. Can't wait to hear what you think about them. Probably some more things that need upgrading as well, but we'll get to that. So, brolly, double canopy, pilfered that off my dad at some point a long time ago, still does the job. So we're keeping that. That's handy if it drizzles. Sorry, Max. Right then, let's have a look in this right-hand pocket. This is usually where I keep my snacks, so crisps, something a little heavier with a banana. That'll usually do me for 18 holes. There'll probably be some more things in there like energy bars and things if it was a 36-hole comp, but for 18 holes, that should keep me full enough not to pass away come the end of the round. What else is in this pocket? Rain cover. Like I said, had this golf bag about a year and never actually used it, so it's there for posterity purposes only. Useful though if it rains, I guess. Right, so let's head on to the other side. So towels, I've got two. One just plain black one, which has already kind of been used just in order to clean the clubs. And then this is the one, the nice one, the Bunker Mentality towel that I'll take with me to the green to clean my ball, make sure my hands are nice and dry, that sort of thing. That's a nice little statement piece on the side there. Also got the old club cleaner, always comes in handy, especially in this sort of weather where it's a bit boggy and my clubs are going to get filthy, so I need to clean the grooves. Obviously that's important for any golfer if you want to get any spin whatsoever. Also I've heard, anyway. Right, into the next side pocket. This is where I keep my beverages, so water, a litre of that. That should see me through unless it's blazing hot, which let's face it, it never is in the UK. But if we're going to warmer climates, maybe carry a bit more. Similar to that, some sort of energy drink, just in case there's a bit of heat. Unlikely, but that always comes in handy to keep those energy levels up. You don't want to be getting tired. Let's not throw these over there this time. Okay, not a great deal else in those pockets, so let's move on. Always handy to have yourself a marker pen for marking up your golf balls. The last thing you want to do is be using a bog standard golf ball, especially in a competition. You need to be able to identify it as yours. So I usually go with blue, red, black. At the moment I've got blue, but whatever. Pop that back in there. Okay, so this is the main pocket for all of my utility objects. So we have a glove. It's the FootJoy Weathersoft. I'm not sponsored by FootJoy, but I absolutely love this glove. It's about a year old and has barely any wear and tear whatsoever, which is delightful, really. Last thing you want to do is be going through gloves like nobody's business. So I'd recommend, not sponsored. What else is in there? Car keys. How would I get to the course without the car keys, you ask? Well, there you go. A lift, hopefully. And then we've got the scorecard holder. Only played the Brabazon once, but somehow ended up with this to keep the old scorecard nice and clean and tidy. And then a lovely little Johnny Plays Golf pencil. Wonderful. Even Max is interested now. You're going to come and look and see what's in the bag, mate? No, you're looking for snacks. Fair play. Right, and the only other thing in here is the rangefinder. So this bad boy is a red Tiger, which I'll be honest, never heard of. However, It got great reviews on Amazon and it was relatively cheap as well. So it seems to do the job. Okay, pop that back in there. Right then, starting to move on to the more all-important thingamybobs in here. So T-pegs. I've actually got them in my pocket, as I probably would if I was golfing. So in here we have the Pebble Beach marker, which I'll be honest, never been to Pebble Beach, nor have I ever played it, that's for sure. But I still have a marker, a little coin, I like that. And the divot tool is a British Open one, which also has a smaller marker on it, which comes in handy if you need to not have a gigantic poker chip. There we are. Okay, pop those back. And the T-peg situation, I usually have some of these mini green castle tees. They come in very handy on the par 3s, and I've got so many of them, thank you to my friend Paul who bought me about 1,000. They never seem to go down. And normal T-pegs, every time I play in a Yorkshire Union event, humble brag, yes I've played in a few amateur events, they usually have a big box of T-pegs and I pilfer as many as I possibly can. Literally 2 handfuls, so there you go. And usually carry a broken one as well if I'm hitting a 3-wood or hybrid or something off the tee. Comes in handy there. And in the other pocket, possibly one of the more important things is lip balm. Don't want to be getting chapped lips, guys. That's for sure. Right, golf balls. In this little white pocket here, so that's where the tees live. And here we go. For this season, we've gone for the Bridgestone Tour BXS. I believe the ones that Tiger uses. No real reason for this. I just like the balls. Managed to get them relatively cheap as premium balls go in the winter sales. But honestly, any premium ball in summer will do me, and literally anything will do me in winter because it's irrelevant, or I feel like it is. Alrighty, now on to the part you've all been waiting for, the clubs. And I'm going to keep teasing you because there's some new bad boys in there. So, we'll start with the driver, the big dog, Kenneth. Custom head cover, as you can possibly tell, partly due to the fact that my driver is nearly 10 years old, well 8 actually, and the head cover was very, very tatty, so that was about 15 quid off Amazon, bargain, and I like the colours. And this, guys, is the TaylorMade M2 from 2017. 9.5 degrees, in standard loft on the sleeve, but the difference here is it has its own custom shafting. So I bought this separately with the right nozzle to put onto the head cover, if that's the right word. And it's an Aldila Rogue NV green shaft. It's an absolute classic. If you've ever played golf for a long time, I guess, you'll probably have heard of it. And that's in the 65 gram X stiff. And the other thing to note is that it's actually half an inch shorter than your regular club or driver. Specifically, simply because it gives me more of a feel of control. So it's very, very similar in length to the 3-wood. It just means that it doesn't get out of control. I feel like I can hit the ball a bit straighter with it. And it also has the Golf Pride MCC +4 grip. So that's 4 layers of tape is the equivalent, which is a little bit too fat for me, but I do like the feel of it on my driver. Stops me hitting the ball left and getting handsy. There you are. Pop that sucker there. Okay, 3-wood. Another very, very rowdy head cover. This time from Temu, if you've heard of that. Banging. And this, guys, is the TaylorMade, God, I can't even remember. The TaylorMade Sim Max 3-wood in 15 degrees. The V-Steel model. Bought this second hand for about 150 English pounds. Don't know what that equates to in dollars. Maybe 200-ish. And I love it. Yet again, no custom fit options included here, simply whatever I bought at the time. It's got the Fujikura Ventus Blue 6 stiff shaft. So a little whippier than the driver, but for some reason, the way that I swing the club, I'm more able to draw this than I am with the driver, or certainly far more comfortably anyway. and that goes about 250 yards carry, whereas the driver's more like 265, 270, I hope. Not really sure actually, I just hit it as hard as I can, I'll be honest with you. There we are. Grip on that one is the TaylorMade, or Golf Pride TaylorMade Z grip. I actually really like that, to be fair. I like how it feels. No extra tape on that as far as I'm aware, so that's quite thin. But again, no custom fit, so we just pound away with that. I like hitting it off the tee, terrified of hitting it off the ground, that's for sure, so don't use it that often actually. But it's a nice club. Okie dokie, the hybrid, the one that sits in between the 3 metal and all of the irons. And this is a weird and wonderful one. Another crazy Temu purchase there because the head cover essentially disintegrated. This is a real throwback. This is the Callaway Big Bertha Heavenwood 20 degree from 2003. So it's actually 22 years old. Everything on it is the original, including the somewhat rusting shaft, which I couldn't even tell you. It's Callaway Golf Uniflex steel, whatever that means. But it does have a newer Golf Pride MCC grip in black and red. So following a bit of a theme there. Again, don't use it very often, but it does the job. Goes about 215 yards carry. So it sits in that gap between 4 iron and 3 wood quite nicely. Okay, putter. Another Temu classic purchase, simply because somehow the magnet from the original head cover just decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a permanent holiday, not gonna work, so that was nice. This needs a clean. This is a TaylorMade Spider X Hydro Blast putter, so very, very similar to the one that Rory McIlroy uses. I was going to say uses, he actually used it. I think he's got a different one in the bag now. But I like this one, face balance technology. One of the newer clubs in my bag, aside from the irons. And I like it. Custom, nothing really. It's just got the KBS CT Tour putter, 120 gram shaft, and the original TaylorMade Superstroke pistol grip for the old claw that I use. Am I very good with it? No. But is it the putter's fault? Absolutely not. I'm just rubbish at putting. But I like it. Let's pop that one back in. Okay guys, nearly at the main event, I promise. Right then, another blast from the past, the 50 degree. Callaway Forged. That's it. I believe it's from 2003 or 2004, so 20 years old. The reason why this is in the bag is because the wedge goes about 130, so the pitching wedge goes about 130 yards, and then the 52 degree that I have in the bag goes 105 yards. So there's quite a big gap there, and this goes 120. Don't really understand how it goes 15 yards further, being only 2 degrees stronger than the 52, but that's the way it is. And a Callaway Wedge Flex shaft. And a white lambkin grip, which is probably just as old as the golf club itself. So yeah, can't say I use it much, but it's handy. Does it need to be in there? For now, yes, but would I like to replace it and get something a bit newer? Certainly. Maybe one day soon. Right then, the wedges. I've got two. I've got a 52 like I mentioned and a 56 degree in the TaylorMade Milled Grind 2. So these are relatively new, to be fair, compared to a lot of my clubs. They're starting to rust on the face, which is quite cool. Both in the black finish. I just prefer the darker finishes in the wedges so you don't get the glare off the face. I don't know if anybody else falls into that category, but there we are. And in these ones, I've got the Dynamic Gold S200 shafts. So stiff shafts in the wedges. Makes a little bit more sense. Again, never got custom fit for these, so absolutely no idea in all honesty if they're right for me. All I know is I can't keep them low. Like the pros really drive their wedges low with a lot of spin. Can't do that. Mine go straight up my nostril, especially the 56. And I don't opt for like a 60 degree simply because I'm very confident opening the blade on the 56. Can play a lot of different types of shots. Probably could throw a 60 degree in there, but would I really use it? Very rarely. Maybe one day. Maybe I could think about a 50, 54, 58 combo, something like that. Okay, after all that rigmarole, I hope you're still alive. On to the main event. So, going out of the bag are the Ben Ross Rip Speed Tour irons, which I'll be honest, were a bit of a flight of fancy at the time. I was just getting back into golf, maybe 10 years ago, playing a little bit more, and they were cheap. I wasn't taking it very seriously, so it was just nice to have a set of clubs. And to be fair, they've been brilliant, never had any trouble with them. They go pretty well, however, they have regular shafts, they're very game improvement focused, and being a low single digit handicap golfer such as myself, I feel as though I require something with a little bit more workability, that forged feel, and all of those wonderful things. So, here we go. Now we've got a combo set. So, in the 4, the 5, the 6 and the 7, so the longer irons, a little bit more forgiveness, we have the tailor-made P7 CBs, and oh my god, are they beautiful. Heard nothing but great things about these. Used them in the fitting, they were just fantastic. And I mean, looking down at them, they're a little bit scary. You can see here, they're a lot smaller than my previous irons. Very minimal offset. However, they're much easier with the shaft combinations to actually get the ball in the air than my Ben Ross irons. So, we do actually have these in 1 degree strong. So things are a little bit strange because of my height and things like that, and my distance needs. I've got these in 1 degree strong, and it'll all make sense shortly, okay? So, in the shaft, this was super important. And if you do want to watch my full fitting video where I explain all the ins and outs along with Adam, the fitter, about how I don't really spin the ball and I need some help getting the ball high up in the air and landing on the green nice and softly. So that's where this Nippon Pro Modus 3 Tour shaft comes into it. So this is the Tour 105 in stiff flex, so this helps me launch the ball a little bit higher, partly because when I hit my irons, I have a lot of shaft lean at impact. So most Tour pros have a tiny bit when they're hitting down on the ball, whereas myself, my hands are way in front of the club, so I'm super de-lofting it, which means the launch angle is very low. So I need something that's going to help me get that launch up and that spin up, which is why that shaft is so perfect. And then in the grip, we have the Lampkin standard crossline grip. I just love the feel of these. Nothing too fancy, just 2 layers of tape, so ever so slightly thicker than your standard one, just to fit the size of my hands better. And the other things with these that you can't really see on camera are they're 1 degree upright. So simply because I'm 6 foot tall, but clearly don't have the longest arms, so my wrist to floor measurement isn't massive, so I've got slightly upright by 1 degree, and like I said, 1 degree strong. And that's in the 4, 5, 6 and 7 irons. So, for the 8, 9 and wedge, you may be catching on, but how sexy are these? These are the TaylorMade P7 MBs, so the blade version. Not quite as crazy as the Tiger Woods models, but my goodness. They look absolutely incredible down at the ball. Now these ones, like I said for the P7 CBs, are 1 degree strong. Because these are a slightly different model, they are 1 degree weaker in loft than the P7 CBs. So these are actually 2 degrees strong compared to the normal ones. So that then fits into that gap between the yardages perfectly. So they seamlessly move from the 8 to the 7 without there being a crazy gap in yardage, for example. In terms of the shafts, everything's still the same with the Nippon Modus Tour 105. They're 1 degree upright again, and they're 1/2 inch long. I forgot to mention that earlier. They're 1/2 inch longer. I think I forgot to mention that anyway. Same thing, Lampkin grips with 2 layers of tape, and they feel fantastic. I've not actually used them. I've swung them a couple of times, nothing more than that. Cannot wait to get out on the course in a couple of days and actually give these a go, albeit in the mud. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed that tour of my golf bag in depth. Really interested to know what you think about this. There's a lot going on. What else would you change? Certainly the irons, definitely not, since they've just come into the bag. But let's see what you think. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have.